All right, how's it going, everybody? Jason Clark here with Red State Relocate. Hey, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hey, we have a wonderful, wonderful interview for you coming up right now. I interview Nick Johnson of YouTube fame. For those of you who are not aware, Nick Johnson has a massive YouTube channel. He has 550,000 subscribers at this point, and he does fantastic videos about all the different region or states in the country, and the cities, and the good and the bad, and things to be aware of. And it's a great value for people who are living in places like California or Washington or anywhere across the country, in New York, and you're saying, hey, I got to get out of here. Where do I go? First thing you do is you watch Nick Johnson's videos, and you get an idea of where it is you want to go. And then the second thing you do is then you call me, and I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you sell your home, help you buy a new home. I'm a realtor here in California, and so if you're looking to get out of here, it's my goal, my purpose for Red State Relocate, to help get you out of these cities and these communities that are no longer serving you. They're not serving your business, and they're not serving your children, as we learned during COVID, did we not? Hopefully you enjoy this video. I had a blast interviewing Nick, and so any questions, anything in the description, all my contact information is there. Nick Johnson's video is a link to his channel as well. So good luck to you. I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. I welcome Nick Johnson. Nick, how are you today, sir?
Jason, I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. For those watching, we actually had a little technical difficulty, so we're kind of getting our wings back flying here. So Nick, so for those that don't know, man, Nick, I'm not gonna say for those who don't know, everybody knows who Nick Johnson is. You have 550,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. That's fantastic, phenomenal. If you could just, I'm curious just how the channel started, what motivated you to start the channel, and what brought it up, and then obviously you've had massive growth. Recently, I'll say probably the last few years, I see us kind of looking through the videos. You've had some go viral. So yeah, what led to that, and what brought you into, I'll say, into the YouTube world?
Yeah, it all started, YouTube wasn't really the first place I had aimed to have the videos. When we were in college, I had a TV show that was kind of a skit variety show that aired on public access in San Bernardino, and it was called The Slideshow. And it was sort of a mix between Pee-wee's Playhouse and The Daily Show. And our goal was to just, get a show on MTV or Comedy Central, because back in 2000, 2001, that's what everybody wanted to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of went well for a while, but I was going down to LA and I was trying to make connections, and everybody was like, we're not going to take you seriously until you move to LA. You can't try to break into LA from San Bernardino an hour away. Like, you got to move here and struggle like everybody else, and then people will take you seriously. Yeah, you have a 909 area code. You got to have a 213 or 310 area code. And, I even had relatives that knew people that were high up, and they were like, hey, kid, get in line and wait. And, I got a little frustrated and kind of put the project down for a while. I actually needed to get a job at that point. I was probably 25 or 26, and that was what I was doing. And I kind of put it to bed for a while. I had uploaded a few videos to YouTube, but I didn't really focus on it for a while. And eventually, 15 years later, I started a website called Home Snacks, where we were ranking best places to live, most affordable, most family-friendly places to live. And we were trying to make those stories go viral on Facebook using advertising, because back in the day you put a $30 ad up on Facebook, and you could target people in Virginia, and you could make stuff go viral in Virginia pretty easily. But it wasn't until we started ranking the worst places to live. All we did essentially was just flip the list upside down, and talked about the worst places to live, the most redneck places to live. And that kind of stuff really caught on right away. And we made videos that were like 5-minute videos. They were kind of cute and clever and short, but there wasn't really a lot of depth into it. It was a lot of college humor, mostly just cutting up. And those kind of caught on. And it about a year later, somebody pointed out, that YouTube channel has 30,000 subscribers. And I was like, oh, like maybe I should kind of halfway go full time on YouTube. So I really started in 2018 talking about A lot of obscure rankings, the most, the poorest places to live,
Hmm.
the blackest cities, the whitest states, and just kind of poked fun at stuff, and at the same time try to talk about statistics and try to make it as fun as I could. And it really kind of started to take off in 2018. But even then, it wasn't really it wasn't political really. It was mostly just me having fun, playing silly songs, talking about data. It wasn't political at all.
Yeah.
The goal wasn't to try to help people where to move. It was just, I called it infotainment. It was just
Yeah.
entertainment based around information and entertainment mixed in a little bit of humor, throw in some cartoon characters, and there you go.
Yeah. You got Mappy. Yeah. Everybody loves Mappy. That's
Everyone
great.
loves
But yeah,
Matt.
then that was actually one of the questions I have for you too, because I noticed, yeah, it started out looking funny, and then but the level of detail, the information that's in your videos now, I'll say, is like it's unparalleled. I mean, it's so in depth. I was watching this the one of the map ones you did recently. And you were getting into, and again, it's funny. I think we kind of laugh, but at the same time, the information you're providing is so valuable because you did. It was like what was it? Meth per capita or meth something. Well, I
Meth
think I
labs
wrote it. Meth labs per
per
county,
county.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like you go, wow, So I'll say for this, for myself being a realtor, that's a lot of stuff that like I can't tell clients that. I can't tell them, oh, don't go there. And your videos, I think, are so helpful in that regard for people looking to move because you can say things that I can't say, right? I can't say don't move there or this is this kind of area, And so I like that. It's again, like you said, it was infotainment. It's info and funny, but like I said, yeah, you seem to just be bringing so much more. I just think value and information to people. Now, did that kind of come by accident, or are you focusing on that more, or is I'll say like is the funny just easy now, and now you're focusing on content, or is it kind of a balance between both?
Um, I think that it sort of has become the way it is because people have responded with that they like the truth about the
Hmm.
country.
Yeah.
And I don't dive deep into conspiracy theories, and I
Hmm.
don't really take the political side too much. Although
Yeah.
I think most people would see I'm right leaning, but I'm not ultra hard right. Yes, I
Hmm.
voted for Trump. I don't like Joe Biden's policies, but like I don't talk about either
Yeah.
one of those too much. I poke fun
Yeah.
at
That's the
both sides
funny.
a little bit.
Hmm.
But I think most people just like the truth. They like to know, I'm thinking about moving to Phoenix. What's Phoenix like? And I'll kind of break it down and be like, Phoenix is kind of like ghetto. Like some parts are nice, but
Hmm.
you're going to have people that want to go to different places, but they don't know what it's really like. I mean, you can go online and you can search for all day, and
Yeah.
it's still tough to get the straight truth about is this a good place to live? And number one, and number two, where should I move in this city?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've traveled a lot. I still have not covered a lot of the country at all, but I think that's pretty much how it kind of started to kind of take off with just telling people what's going on without any kind of real over biased too
Yeah.
much. Although, like
Um, I noticed the old videos were short form. They were in the 3 to 5 minute, and then they started getting longer. And now some of your unboxing videos, they're an hour plus. So what's driven that? Are you seeing the analytics on YouTube long form better, or are you just getting more comfortable with content and just the videos are just naturally becoming longer?
A few reasons. Yes, YouTube will definitely reward longer watch times.
Hmm.
I didn't really pay much attention at the beginning. I just started. I would love to be able to explain things as much as I can, but part of the problem is footage. So, I mean, I can sit here and talk about Raleigh all day, but if I don't have any footage of it, it doesn't really do very, very good. So, when I
Hmm.
started really traveling to these places and getting a lot of content, then I could talk about it as much as I wanted. And then I found myself running out of sort of things to say. I mean, how much did somebody just want me to read off of Wikipedia? I mean,
Yeah.
so I then started playing music while I was driving, so that people could see what it was like. But like, Nick's done talking now. Nick doesn't have anything else to say. And then one
Hmm.
day I started interviewing people, and I was like, this is perfect because they can talk. They're from there. I can interview them, and we can fill all the time while we're doing the drive with question and answer, informal conversations with people. And I think people really appreciate hearing what locals have to say. Again, unbiased for the most
Hmm.
part. I do have real estate agents occasionally, If I go into like a really rich area and I just want a real estate agent to ooh and ah at the beautiful homes, but you
You
know,
do
you
that.
can get some really good interviews with people. I don't pre-screen them. It's usually sometimes I'll put it out there and say, hey, I need somebody from Charlestown, West Virginia to talk, and I'll get one person, and I'm like, good, done. Like I don't
Yeah.
care how long, you know, just if you can kill 15, 20 minutes of the conversation, and sometimes those are the best ones because
Yeah.
you get people that are just down to earth people, and I think that's what most viewers want to see is just a down to earth regular guy talking about his hometown,
Yeah.
not the mayor, not a real estate agent, not an expert, just somebody that's like, you know, it used to be like this and now it's like this, and
Hmm.
what do you want to know?
Yeah. There was a video I was watching yours a little while back. It was in Missouri. I don't know if it was an unboxing video because I was checking out Missouri myself. And it was from northern Missouri, some little small town up there. Farmer guy. I don't know if that rings a bell. But he was a farmer. He was outside. I mean, that guy was amazing. Amazing. What
Mhm.
an awesome interview. You know, nobody would think, oh, some, you know, the guy wearing the overalls out in the field could just turn into this just wonderful, wonderful interview. And yeah, you're right. Like that's just bring in the regular people. That's huge, man. That's huge. In terms of your videos being short form, long form, one video I think that was a long form video, and it's a more of a recent one, and I noticed it went viral. And I'm going to bring up the browser right now, and we can show it. But it was I was going to show uh, your um, your video you did. I was going to go sort by most popular, and it definitely something I want to discuss here was the Oakland video, the homeless video you did in Oakland.
Yeah. So Oakland was a very unique, you know, when I went to California, I started in Vegas and I was showing, you know, like I typically do. I go to the worst area to show people what it's like. And I ended up in Oakland and I was just blown away by how run down Oakland was. It was so
Mhm.
vastly dangerous and ghetto and just has a vibe there that and I didn't like even the downtown area is sketch. Everything
Mhm.
about Oakland. It's sad. And I think a lot of people that live in Oakland are in denial about how bad it truly is because there are people that write to me and they're like, oh my God, it's not that bad. And yes, I know there's a nice area up on the north side of town.
Mhm.
And I have family that lives on that hill. And even they're in denial about how terrible it is at the bottom of the
Mhm.
hill. But yeah, I drove around and was blown away by the homeless scene of the it looked like a third world country. I
Yeah.
had I was driving around this homeless encampment trying to get people to talk to me, and I got kind of shooed away by a security guard who is there to protect them. There were two different encampments there. One of them was inside of a fenced in area, and that was approved by some nonprofit who lets people go there and they have their own security. And then outside of that fence is where the peasants live who are not protected by the nonprofit.
Really?
And
Okay.
I went, yeah, and I went
Interesting.
down there and I was trying to get people to kind of talk to me. And one guy, his name's Ohio, he stops me. He can see that I'm like, oh, get out of the car, let's talk. And I was like, cool. And then he had this monologue that was like 10 minutes long, and he just went off and he said everything that a lot of poor people want were thinking about how frustrated they are with the cost of living and the
Mhm.
homeless situation and the government and you know I asked him, you know, everybody thinks homeless people are on drugs and they're losers and they're lazy bums and all they do is want to drink and beg and they're a nuisance, and he kind of dispelled that a little bit and kind of talked like just an average person would.
Yeah. I
And I
remember
think
that.
that
Yeah.
and then he's like, go down here and let's talk to some, you know, I used to live here. Let's go talk to everybody. So we went down and we sat down with I sat down with him for a couple hours. We had cheeseburgers and we just talked about how they
Mhm.
got there, their situation, what their goals were, if they had a plan. And I think people just related to it because nobody had really watched just an unfiltered hour-long video of homeless people talking about their lives and how they got there.
Mhm.
It wasn't cut up. There wasn't, you know, we'll be right back. It wasn't snippets. It was just like I just turned the camera on and let it roll. And I think people just identify with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, man. I tell you, I was watching it. He was, yeah, when he was just talking about, and he was talking about how it's structured and how everybody's watching this. And I mean, it's a, I know sometimes we think of a homeless encampment as just a bunch of people just sleeping in tents, but there's a hierarchy there, and there's people with there's politics in there, there's power, and you know, there's, I mean, that was really really interesting. I was really into that, and then I really do remember too. I remember you were talking same thing when you were saying about how you know, people were just kind of, I don't know if it was turning a blind eye or just wanting to not acknowledge that, yeah. And I remember you made a comment to the effect of, it's like, they see it, but they don't care kind of thing. And I remember thinking it's almost like a family member. When you have a family member, that's kind of trouble, but you love him anyway, and you don't want anybody to say no bad things about him, but you're still like, yeah, I know he's a punk, but he's my punk. And,
Yeah.
so the people that live in Oakland, like, yeah, they love their community. We can love our troubled, nephew. He's a punk. We can love him, but we still need to acknowledge that he needs some help, and you got what, 3.8 million views on that. That was amazing. Now, I remember at the time, I don't know, was it in Oakland, or I remember you had mentioned you maybe went to Berkeley or San Francisco, but at some point you mentioned like your shoes were all nasty and dirty. You had to toss them. Does that ring a bell? I remember thinking to like I'm thinking of it as the shoe story. What happened there?
Yeah. So I started in Vegas. I went to the worst little parts of Las Vegas, and worked my way up towards you. So I went to the Central Coast. I went to Fresno, Stockton, Visalia, walked around in the worst parts of those places. Mm-hmm. Went to San Francisco, the Tenderloin, Oakland, Portland, and by the time I got to Seattle after the end of the trip, I mean my shoes were and I had a rental car and I was kicking them off when I get to my hotel room. Like it wasn't like I was spreading germs, but I watched my shoes go from like brand new white to like this layer of like disgusting filth of like worse. Like I probably carried, poop from city to city. I don't even know. Cause you know how it is on the streets, man. I mean, I walked around and, and talked to homeless people and like walked in dirty, nasty alleys and kicked rocks around in like the bad side of town. And, the Tenderloin was just so vastly sad and run down. And apparently some people tell me I went on a good day, or no, they say you should have gone at night. And I tried to go at night. I tried to walk through there, and it was very clear that I didn't belong. And the thing about homeless and mentally ill is they're unpredictable. I can talk my way out of a ghetto hood. I cannot talk my way out of a mentally ill person that you can't reason with them. And it was like being in a zoo, like somebody opened the cage and pushed me into a cage. And I was like, I got to get out of here. And my ego told me don't run, but I jogged for a block. I did. But yeah, I think, on one point, I dispelled the rumor that all homeless people are like loser bum, loady, druggies, because talking to the people in Oakland, it was like, okay, there's real smart people that have a plan. And I even started talking to people and I was like, okay, not everybody's what you think. Mm-hmm. Now you walk around some parts of downtowns and there's going to be, in Los Angeles, just blocks and blocks. Like there's miles of tents. Like if you could drive a block in Los Angeles without leaving the downtown area and probably go more than a mile, probably 2 miles if you drive in a circle or a square. And most of those people look like they were out of their mind. You couldn't reason with them, but there's good people. They're all decent people that have just taken a wrong path. Some of them have no plan. Some of them are there intentionally because they want to party. Some of them are trying to get back on their feet. I learned that lesson by actually talking to people and seeing a hierarchy of, man in a doorway, and then man in a sleeping bag in the doorway, and then person in a tent on the sidewalk, and then person in a giant structure on the sidewalk, and then in the car on the road, and then RV. And then there are people that were like straight up. You drive blocks and blocks in some of these cities on the West Coast, and there'd be fifth wheels. I saw trucks with people that had boats pulled behind them with camper shells, people building structures on top of their truck beds.
That's amazing.
And I was just like, and some of these people, license plates were from, all over the country. And you're like, clearly they're there on purpose trying to collect benefits. Because, it's one thing to be homeless in San Francisco and be living on the streets because you got kicked out and you can't get a job. And that's terrible. But it's another thing to drive from Oklahoma out to California with your, fifth wheel and park and on a street 2 miles from downtown and just say, this is where I'm going to live.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take this.
And why do they do that? Yeah, why do they do that? Because they get things. They get free healthcare, free beer, free food, free money. California, I talked to people that were saying they get hundreds of dollars a week. anything you want. I mean, if I were to be sick in California and I were to go and I didn't have insurance, I would get a big giant bill and get sent to credit. Now, if I'm homeless and I'm a druggie and I don't feel good, I go get free medical care every day.
Yeah.
You know, the money they get. So yeah, you know, it's terrible out west, but they draw it in, the politics, and word's out, you know. And I talk to people that were like, word's out, you know, and it's not going to stop until they stop giving this stuff away.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the benefits are good. I think we talked about that too when you came through the valley. We're talking about, you know, just the welfare benefits alone. It's just such a trap for a lot of people. You know, a lot of these you know, not only for working people who are coming, you know, migrants coming to America, getting caught up in the system, but people who are born here. And like you said, they're just going to go to California. And maybe here's the thing: maybe they're younger and they think they're going to go to California and have a good old time for a little while, right? Get on the system a little bit, party it up, man. But you know, then the drug addiction kicks in and the alcoholism, right? And then they maybe do become chronically homeless and end up right without any life skills. And then you know, how does that help anybody? And that's always my gripe with California, right? That my gripe is always, how is giving all this stuff away and getting people caught up in this system, how is that helping them? That's not helping them. It may make you feel good to think you're helping them, and you can post your, you know, stuff on the internet so you can feel virtuous and wonderful about yourself. But are the results of what you're proposing, are they actually helping people? And that's the stuff they don't want to see. They don't want to see the actual impact of the policies that they support. And so that's why your videos, I think, again, are so valuable, because people all over the country now, 4 million people now practically, have seen the results of these policies that, you know, that a lot of people who drive around their little Mercedes around, you know, Berkeley and on the coast supporting all this stuff. And then you just drop a big old light right on the results. And that was fantastic. So yeah, good on you for going out there, man. That was incredible. Those are you planning on doing more of those types of videos, or was that like a, hey man, one and done, I don't want to get you know, disappeared?
I am going to do one more follow-up in California. I'm going out there in early summer because a lot of my family still lives there. So, you know, I go out and see them. I'm going to show some really shitty parts of the desert. I'm going to go back to LA. I haven't shown San Diego's true side. I really want to go down into the tunnels beneath Vegas. There's hundreds of people that live in the water distribution tunnels, flood control channels below Vegas. I don't know if I should. I probably won't end up doing that unless I have like a guide or a guard or something. Yeah. And then I want to come back to the Bay Area again. I do want to walk through the Tenderloin again, but I want to go in disguise. I want to dress like a freaking bum and walk through there with the camera hidden and really show. A lot of people have done it in Kensington. Wow. And it's amazing. It's crazy to see the people strung out and passed out.
No kidding.
I tried to go through there and I looked like this, and that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So I need to kind of go back in there. But then I think I'm going to shut the door on that. You know, I think I'm going to start changing a little bit. I'm almost kind of burned out on doom and gloom and showing bad shit. I think I'm going to start just going to places and talking with people and just telling a story without really an agenda, having some fun. I mean, I've had a lot of success right now, and I fed on the YouTube clickbait algorithm where I'm motivated to do bad things and to get people to click and to scare people into like, oh my God, you got to see this. I think I've already accomplished whatever goals I had in mind. I think for the next couple of years, I'm just going to go travel and tell stories, do more fun stuff, maybe not have to go to bad areas. I'm a little bit burned out on that. So I think people will start to see by the end of the year a lot more transition from bad, doom and gloom, dangerous to more informative and just lighthearted and fun. A lot of people write me and they say, you know, you're very helpful on where to not go. But we want to know like where we could go. So I'm going to start, I've already started going to small towns. I feel like small towns are the next big thing for people who, there's really nowhere left in this country that you can go that's affordable and safe anymore, unless you want to go out to the sticks and be an hour outside of the suburbs.
I think the only thing keeping people, don't mean to interrupt, but the only thing keeping a lot of people that I talk to out of like the sticks, out of the far areas, is the internet. They say, well, you know, there's just no internet connection. They don't mind being rural because, you know, they can go shopping at Costco and stock up for 2-3 weeks, but there's no internet. But I think, you know, when Starlink hits, man, everybody's got their eye on Starlink. And when that hits, and you'll get internet in the middle of the ocean. I mean, I think there's going to be a big push. I think that's a good idea for you. You know, if you're going to go out there, start highlighting these areas, and then by the time that thing hits, I mean, people are going to hit your channels looking up these towns that nobody's looking at right now, and they're going to go do a Google search, and there's going to be your video from 2 years ago, right? Because let's say 4 years down the road, I mean, you're going to be sitting right there, sitting pretty. Kind of.
Yeah, the internet, you'd be surprised. I mean, the places that I'm currently going to, and I think that's, so 5 to 10,000 people, there's internet. I mean, I go there and like it's a regular place. It's not, I'm not talking like dirt road stuff, 400 people. I've lived in a town with 500 people before, and they did not have internet, very good internet. They probably do now. No, but these are places that are like 10,000, between 5 and 10,000 people that are, so far that are, within an hour of a major city, within a half hour of a minor city. And they're, little downtown main area, maybe, a couple bars and restaurants. But it's nice to just go to these little places and just meet with people and sit down at the diner and get to know Linda and have Linda's pie and talk to them about, what it's like. What do people do for fun? How do people make this happen? Where's the nearest place to live? And what they're telling me is, you get involved with the community and you meet people, and your fun is your kids' sporting events, getting involved with the local clubs, volunteering. It's a different mindset. Or just stay at home and watch Netflix. I mean, let's be real. Most people just do that.
Yeah,
anyway.
they do that.
I mean, but I think people's whole mindsets flipped when COVID hit, because everybody was so used to being in large crowds and going out, and their form of entertainment was going out to bars and restaurants and sporting events and, being part of the crowd. And then people kind of realized that when they couldn't do it, you know what, it's not so bad to just kind of have some space. And I'm getting to know my kids again, and we don't need to go out and do all that stuff. We can, but we don't have to, and so I think that's probably where I'm going to focus some more of my time, maybe not quite half, but, and again, I've been to a lot of big cities. I really like to be able to get out of my car and walk to the local Mexican restaurant, talk to people, and not have to deal with traffic. And I've seen enough ghettos and homeless people and graffiti that now it's time to maybe end this channel on a more positive note and tell the good sides of America at some point.
Now it's interesting you say end this channel. You're looking to kind of start to transition into the kind of more of the fun little areas. I mean, what do you plan on leveraging, or do you plan on leveraging that into something else? Or is it one day you're just going to say, okay, no more channel, and you're going to go do something else?
No, I don't think I'm ever going to end, but I think I will probably, the traveling part. I mean, if I do a big road trip, if I do a 2-week road trip, I can get enough videos for like, I can make 20 videos out of that sometimes. And then, I come home and I put those together, and then it's like, okay, now what? Like, well, I can do some other fun stuff, or I can go on another road trip. At some point, I'm sure I'm just going to be like, you know what? I don't want to go anywhere for 6 months.
Hang out.
Just hang out, just do whatever I want. Some of the videos, some of my favorite videos were the least popular on the channel, making fun of state flags, making fun of, state songs, just, looking at funny charts and just making, observations of like, here's a map that shows, where people poop. Like, let's talk about that. Like in San Francisco, like just, simple stuff. I don't really feel like I need to keep I'm going to burn out eventually, and like I said, the success has been more than I thought, and there's more success down the road, but at some point it's going to be whatever I want to do. And I don't care if you click, because I've been so motivated, trying to tell stories, and I know what gets my audience riled up, and I know how to make them, click and share, and I know how to get to 1 million views. But you know what? At some point, it's going to be whatever I want to do, click or don't. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. That's good too. It's a good philosophy, right? To say, hey, you've done it, you learned, you kind of figured out the algorithm, how it works, and now, you're so good at the video anyways, right? So might as well just leverage the talent, go have fun. Hey, the best fishing lake in North Carolina,
Yeah, and those can be informative and fun. You can interview, it's been done, endlessly by, journalists have traveled, the country, and they talk to people and they can make a story out of anything. It's not a unique concept, but yeah, I think, maybe a more modern version of Charles Kuralt, maybe, without the schmarmy, stuff, with the truth and the 2022 version of that. I don't know.
Maybe Ken Burns someday will do a documentary on Nick Johnson's wildlife.
So.
It'll be on.
I'd have to. PBS. Yeah, it would have to be groundbreaking for Ken Burns to even really give it.
I was watching Hemingway. There's a Ken Burns is doing a Hemingway. At least he did it a while back, and it's about Ernest Hemingway and his struggles and his that'll be you next. So no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I wish you well. I wish you luck. I just want to say thanks for the channel. Thanks for doing everything. Your perspective is great. I think the fact, and that's why I brought you on for Red State Relocate, is that having yourself, been from California, moved to a red state, seen it. We see how it's impacted you. That shows in your videos. It's just like I said. It's fantastic information. And so yeah, I point a lot of people your way when they say, "What about this? What about there?" I say, go watch Nick Johnson's videos, man. He's got a lot of them. Those unboxing videos are fantastic. I did a video on my channel here. It was like the five most overrated red states.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's moving to Texas and Idaho and whatever. And I was like, well, where are some other fun places? And so I picked out. But man, but I watched so many of your videos putting that together and kind of saying, okay, where else could they go? What I realized though is that I can't provide as detailed and as good of information as say real estate agents that are in those markets, right? They know they're born and raised there. And there's already a lot of YouTube channels of realtors that there's already a template for it, for saying, here's the pros and cons. Here's the places to, best this. And again, they know the algorithm too. And don't move here if, right? They do that all the time. And so, and again, they get the clicks because triggers the fear portion of the brain, right? That amygdala gets hit and they go, oh, I have to click it. I got to know. So I just kind of started thinking like, I don't want to take this channel that direction. And that's why my channel, I haven't been doing a lot with it. Because I thought, well, I'll try this. I really don't think that's going to get legs, but this and having you on first is perfect for me because, like I said, I'm always going to be pointing people your direction, and I'll always be able to point them to this interview and say, hey, not only go watch his videos, but now they have an opportunity to meet you. And so thank you so much for being here. Any final words, comments, anything other than, go NC tonight? We'll see.
North Carolina. I just, most of the people I talk to, they're from the West or the Northeast, and they want to move to the Midwest or to the South. Everyone is wanting to get away from the cost of living, the politics, the drama, the fact that states have pretty much turned a lot of their states over to letting criminals roam free and letting people take advantage of the system. Yeah. And it's getting really expensive. And I feel bad. I really do feel bad for people that are coming up that want to move to places that they just can't afford anymore. Like when I was coming out of college, like I didn't really have much of an income because I was screwing around for way too long. But I could not imagine coming out of college now with a decent job and trying to save, and then watching, as you're saving, the cost of living is going up. You're not making any progress. Now you got to save. We thought we had to save 40 grand for a house. Now we got to save 75. Like, how long is this going to take? So, you're doing a good job of helping people get out of there. And I'm sure most of the people that are fleeing California want cheaper and safer. Just like most of the people I talk to as well. We're going to see a huge shift. And I don't know politically, states are getting all scrambled right now. My home state of North Carolina is barely red. But most of the people that come here that are Democratic voters are a different kind of Democratic voter. They're like, they're not politically motivated. That's just how they vote. And they just want to get away from where they were. That was way blue. And everybody just wants safe and affordable clean and no drama.
Yeah. We just want to walk outside, mow your lawn, say hi to your neighbor. We don't care what your politics is. We just want to say, hi, how you been? And unfortunately, the divide is just driving so many people away from that.
And the cost of living, it's just the home prices. So, You know, I tell people, you're going to have to live in and people are not against living in small towns, but the thing is, they don't know which one. I mean, you can't Google best. I mean, you can Google best small towns on my website, Home Snacks. We have a list of best small towns, but then it's like, okay, well, how do you pick? And like, it's just, I feel bad for people that are trying to move right now because
that's rough.
People that moved, they went to Boise and to flee California's BS. Moved to Boise 10 years ago. Now they're leaving Boise. They're like, it's turning into California. And they're like, and I did a consulting with them to help them figure out where they can they go next, because they're like, this is crazy. The places that you used to be able to move to get away from that are now becoming overly populated and popular, like Nashville, Charlotte, Atlanta. Those are all, Florida is, in my mind, past its prime. I mean, that used to be the final end of the road where you could go
retire in Florida. Nope.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we got left? The Carolinas are probably the best place to go. And I do tell people that, but I don't want too many people. I don't tell people where I live in North Carolina. They can go to Raleigh and Charlotte all day.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
But then they end up coming to, coming down to where I'm at. But yeah, Tennessee has some options, but like it's shrinking for the, people are going to have to start going like, hey, you know what? Am I going to have to move to the Dakotas? Am I going to have to move to Wyoming, Kansas, Oklahoma?
But hey, Nick, I'll let you go, man. Thanks, man. We rambled on for a while. Man, this was a fun chat. I could probably talk to you for another 45 minutes, man. This was fun.
No, just I'll look you up when I'm out in California next. It'll probably be early summer. So,
dude, yeah, definitely do that, man. We'll grab a.
We can hang out longer next time.
Yeah, right on, man. Cool, man. Well, I'll see you soon. And you take care of yourself, Nick.
All right, you too, man.
Bye. Bye-bye.